Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paul, and I'm just trying to go over things that I am curious about and things I've looked into, I like to share. So today's video, I wanted to share with you why I believe that you should focus on progressing slowly over quickly at anything. If you are like most people with whatever goal that you have in mind, you're wanting to get it done as fast as possible. Why that is, probably just given our culture, we like to get things done fast. But the reason why I think that we should go about trying to progress slowly with these different goals and achievements that we want is because of a couple reasons. One, I think whenever we set the goal for the short term and then we don't do it, we get more end result focused and then therefore discouraged, because then we're throwing off our timing, we're then throwing off our large plans, etc. And we just focus on getting the thing done rather than what made us interested in the thing in the first place. Like, what was it before you set the goal, before you set that timeline? Why did you choose that thing in the first place? Well, most likely it was because you were interested in it and wanted to do it. And so one of the things that I really like about slowly progressing is it lets you enjoy. It lets you enjoy the thing that you're going after more so, because you're focused more on the process than just like the end result. The other reason that I think that we should focus on slowing down our achievement processes is because it lets us sit more in the idea of learning the thing for the thing's sake itself and not for whatever that achievement is, whether it's a degree, whether it's, a published thing, whether it's a bit, whatever it would be. We get to learn it for that thing's sake itself instead of whatever pat on the back of achievement. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not saying that you never want a pat on the back, because those are good, those are encouraging. But when we slow it down and we sit with it and we're able to focus on the process more, I think this lets us learn things deeper and fuller, and it allows for the different complications in life to come up that inevitably do come up. Because sometimes when we're like, okay, a year from now I want to do this thing and I want to be at this level. Well, what happens if you're thrown off for 6 months due to, a crazy circumstance? It's like, well, then you're going to get, not always, but, a lot of times discouraged over that, because you planned a lot of things based off the fact that you'd be done in a year. So here's one of the ideas that I want to put forth to you for longer term thinking, okay? Let's say that you wanted to get really good at a subject. One of the subjects that I've been studying for the past 3-4 years, and this is a subject that I'll use, is marketing, okay? So when it comes to marketing, I did not go to school for marketing, did not have a degree in it at all, but I kind of set the idea in my mind. I was like, okay, I am interested in this subject, but it's definitely not the only thing that I'm interested in. So how about over the next 5 to 10 years, which I'm not strict on whether it's 5 or 10, I may even do it longer, but how about I read one book a month on marketing? And where this gets exciting is this. If you read one book a month on marketing over 1 year, that's obviously 12 books, right? What if you did it over a 5-year period? That's 60 books on marketing. What if you did it over a decade? That's 120 books on marketing. If you read over 100 books on any subject, frankly, if you read 5 books on a subject, you probably know more than 90% of the people on that one subject, okay? What if you read 20 to 25? What if you read 50? What if you read 100? What if you read 250? You get the point of what I'm saying. Because over a long term, not only do you keep putting these new ideas in your head, you're not doing it in a short term, which means you're constantly refreshing. So your learning is actually probably going deeper, especially when you drag it out over the long term. And you're not overloading yourself. Reading a book a month on a subject is very, very reasonable to do. And when you think about the compound effects of what that has over the course of a long time, you will really begin to know a lot. Because if you think of, and this is kind of how I think about it too, I'm like, okay, for the people who go to school for marketing, what are they really doing? They're probably taking, I know for me with English, it's 10 core English classes, so they're probably taking, 8 to 10, maybe 5 to 10. I don't know what they have to take as far as requirements, but classes on marketing, and then they get to graduate with their degree, with all their other gen eds and everything that they need, right? And so I'm like, okay, what is the equivalent of one class in marketing? Okay, they're reading out of the textbook, they're reading examples. So what if I read from actual practitioners? What if I read from people who are actually doing it? What if I read from a couple, CMOs or something like that? What if I did that along with watching interviews? It's like you realize that you're doing the same thing and probably even more so. And you get to self-pace and you get to do it over a long time, which means deeper learning, and you're not just doing things to pass a class. And so for me, this is that idea of having a long-term view on education, having a long-term view on learning the various things that you want to learn. I feel like it's a really, really healthy way to pick up these different skills, pick up this different knowledge that you're wanting to accumulate over the course of your life. And by not setting that short-term goal, it makes it relaxing and enjoyable. And now you learn the thing for the thing's sake, instead of saying, oh, in 2, 3, 4 years, I want to get this degree, in 2 years, I want to get this degree so I can have this job and, whatever else. Granted, those things are sometimes necessary. I'm not saying they're not necessary, but are you going to do that for every area of your life? Probably not. It's just not practical. And so that's why, for me, I've just taken multiple subjects and said, you know what, over this next 10 years, I'm going to try and read a book a month on these different things. Even with finances, that's something that everyone needs to learn more about. What if you read one book on finance a month for 5 to 10 years? Reading 60 to 120 books on finance, yeah, you'll probably have a pretty good idea. And what if you did that from 20 to 30 years old? You want to talk about self-education and getting an idea, even if you only started managing money at 30 years old, but you manage it right, that's still more than enough time. Now, granted, if you can do it younger, better. Everyone knows the compound effect with that pitch and what's been talked about with that. But think about that. Even 10 years, a book a month on finance, over 10 years, 120 books. These are just very, very practical steps to take. And so I want to encourage you in this journey with whatever it is that you are wanting to learn, whatever skill that you're wanting to pick up. Stretch out the time, and break it down into something very reasonable and into something that you can enjoy and not pressure yourself on. Okay? With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.